A casual Google search of the word Tantra reveals just how much this word has been hijacked by popular culture. In most people's mind, the word has become synonymous with how to derive some kind of sexual pleasure. But if this is not Tantra, then what is? Throughout Hindu thought, there is the concept of self-realization, where one realizes that they are not just the body and mind, but the eternal, indestructible Atman beyond this physical existence. Philosophies such as Sankhya and other Vedic thought urge us to inquire, introspect, and finally realize that we are nothing to do with this world of matter. Wisdom means inwardly isolating ourselves away from this physical reality to see our true identity as the self, which is part of God. Like Sankhya and Vedic thought, Tantra too acknowledges the need to realize ourselves as the Atman, but instead of negating the world, it uses the world to transcend it. Just as a thorn is used to remove another thorn, matter is used to go beyond matter. In other words, this material reality is used as a means to knowing God. As a result, tantric traditions involve innumerable rituals, mantras and ceremonies, all of which are designed to activate, awaken and divinize the physical world. This world therefore is no longer seen as an obstacle but a treasured tool to take us to transcendence. Tantra is commonly described as having two paths, the right hand and the left hand. The right hand is overwhelmingly what mainstream Hinduism is about. It is concerned with building a personal relationship with God. It involves disciplined practice and restraint, adhering to a vegetarian diet, and maintaining purity and cleanliness throughout all rituals. But there is a small fraction of Hindus that adhere to the left-handed path. This is an extreme ascetic tradition, whereby all fundamental conditionings of the mind are challenged. Things that ordinary people may consider impure and unholy are actively engaged with. It is here we get the infamous tantric sex practices. Along with this, there is also meat eating, taking intoxicants, and even acts like taking residence in cemeteries. Although these practices are extreme, they are not actually done for pleasure or enjoyment. There is still a specific methodology and discipline behind them. By deliberately embracing antisocial practices and defying normal etiquette, one aims to destroy all attachment, identity, and notions of body consciousness. Unfortunately, all too often it is these minority practices which are isolated without proper understanding and used to present Hinduism to the masses. As mentioned, all Hindu thought declares that we are not the body, but Tantra is unique in that it states that this body is itself a means by which we can realize the truth. While Patanjali, who is considered the father of yoga, teaches us how to focus and still the mind in meditation, Tantric yoga turns the object of this meditation on the body to attain higher states of consciousness. Within our gross material frame exists another subtle one, which has its own anatomy and physiology. There are various energy centers along the spine known as chakras. Each one corresponds to physical organs and is responsible for different emotional, psychological and spiritual states of being. For instance, the Muladhara is associated with the colon and brings security and fearlessness. The Anahata chakra is associated with the heart and lungs and is responsible for love and connectedness. Within this subtle body there is prana, which is the life energy that sustains us. Like a closed circuit, it flows through various channels known as nadis. Tantric philosophy teaches that the free flow of this prana is what leads to an enriched and balanced state of being. Added to this, there is also a unique manifestation of energy located at the base of the spine known as the Kundalini. According to tradition, this is the cosmic energy of the Divine Mother. Through various techniques such as Kundalini Yoga and Kriya Yoga, one can awaken this energy and cause it to rise up the spine, rejuvenating our state of consciousness. The full completion of this process leads to the realization of the self. Aside from using the body, there are also many other techniques. Although not unique to Tantra, mantra practice is central to the tradition. The constant repetition of specific syllables in a set combination with others produces a vibrational effect on our mind and environment. Similar results are found with geometric patterns known as yantras. Rishis have long been aware that different forms produce different effects, and some, like yantras, have the ability to transform our surroundings. These geometric designs are usually associated with a particular deity. The Sri Yantra, for instance, is seen as another form of Lakshmi. It rebalances the environment, generating prosperity and auspiciousness. Another technique is mudras. These are different hand and body positions which channel energy in a certain way. The Jnana Mudra is perhaps the most famous. It increases concentration and the ability to gain wisdom. But where we see the beauty of tantric practice is in the Hindu temple. The temple is not just a place of prayer, it is where we live with God. Through a combination of tantric ritual and an earnest longing to serve the divine, God, in the form of a specific personality, is invited to reside in an image. Although the divine is understood to be present everywhere, he is still unknowable to our mind and senses, but through this process, God becomes physically manifest before us. Through a ceremony known as Prana Pratishta, which means the literal placing of life, that unfathomable divinity is called to reside in the image. This involves a number of preparatory steps. Various materials are used, mantras chanted, as well as different fire sacrifices. These rituals and materials are precisely formulated to raise the energetic vibration of the temple and the image itself. Most people are aware of how our actions and thoughts leave a certain ambience in a particular location. In the same way, tantric ritual uses specific methods to create an energetic context in the temple for God to enter, and it is the sincere desire of the devotees which calls him to arrive. Through the Prana Pratishta ceremony, that which was dead and inert is activated and divinized. Because of the deity, the temple becomes a fortress of divine grace that seeking individuals can connect with. All of these processes are detailed in the various tantric agama scriptures. Vaishnavas who worship Vishnu as the Supreme Lord follow texts such as the Pancharatra. Shaivites who see Shiva as the Supreme adhere to scriptures such as the Shaiva Siddhanta. The Shaktas who worship Devi and other denominations also have their own tantric scriptures. These agamas give specific instructions on worship, how an image has to be made, how a temple is to be constructed, how worship is to be carried out, as well as vast philosophy about the specific deity. After Prana Pratishta is done, the deity is served and honoured as an actual living being. Various items are offered such as incense, lamps and food. Once presented, they are then given to the devotees. In tantric ritual, God manifests in material form, and everything that participates with that form becomes fundamentally transformed. It is no longer considered material but spiritual and is known as prasad. This prasad is then taken by the devotees. Through this process, that which has become part of God then becomes part of us. These ideas and practices pervade most Hindu movements to some degree or another. There are Shaiva and Shakta traditions which place even more emphasis on tantric scriptures than the Vedas themselves. For many of them, spirituality is about the union of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is that divine transcendent consciousness, and Shakti is the dynamic energy of the material world. Self-realization is attained through the awakening and elevation of this energy to attain divine cosmic consciousness. But Vaishnavism in particular sees the tantric revelation as completely complementary to the Vedic tradition. The philosophical knowledge of how the soul relates to the world and God is taken from the Vedic Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. The theology and narrative pastimes of Vishnu are taken from the Puranas such as the Bhagavatam. Tantra provides the method of ritual worship and further theology. And in some Vaishnava movements, Kriya Yoga is also incorporated. All of these systems are carefully combined and work together to guide a devotee towards their true relationship with God. Due to the innovation of masters who have seen the truth, various methodologies are seamlessly joined together, providing the individual seeker with a powerful pathway to receiving first-hand experience of God. We should understand that Hinduism is not content to rely on merely surviving God in the afterlife. It is dedicated to knowing the divine in real, tangible terms. The ancient rishis understood that we are limited beings with limited minds, and so in their wisdom, they revealed different methods through which we can access that divine realm. They provided shortcuts using the science of energy and vibration to open up a new world. The evidence of their insights comes by the direct results of practicing these techniques. Through disciplined effort and a longing heart, we will see that Tantra is a profound and powerful tradition that allows us to experience, serve, and live with God. Many thanks for listening.